Thanks for hearing from my channel. Please like, subscribe and support us if you feel interested. Empowerment Arc Chapter 13 to the Dwarf Kingdom. As Rigurdo had declared, the preparations were complete by noon. Choosing the expedition party was also uneventful. Rigurdo's son Riguru was in the top 5 candidates. Of course, Ranga came along. Oh, should I make Riguru the commanding officer? I was a little uneasy about it, but he himself agreed. Rigurdo also seems to have regained his youthful vigor, so maybe I worry too much. And so, after I had picked up the baggage, Ranga had me get on his back. Boyoyon. I was buried in his fur. And while the surrounding fur seems to have secured me in place, I still feel the need to use sticky thread. It's times like this that make me regret not having arms or legs, but I guess I can manage with abilities. You see, I secretly practice manipulating the string to defeat an enemy with a web. Isn't that every man's dream? Whether I'll be able to learn those techniques, I do not know, but I decided to keep practicing regardless. That aside, the baggage held our money and provisions. Food enough for 3 days. If the trip takes longer, the plan is to hunt the rest of the way. We could have taken more, but I'd rather avoid bringing a caravan worth of food. Well, I could carry nearly an infinite amount inside of me. But spoiling them is a bad idea. Since I do not eat anyways, that was my decision. For currency, we brought 7 silver and 24 bronze coins. Which, of course, is a meager amount. I don't expect much. If it's not enough, we'll figure that out later. Now then, time to go. At a goblin's pace, the trip to the Dwarf Kingdom takes about 2 months. Through the forest runs the vast Amald River. Beyond it, a mountain range reveals itself. And it is in those mountains that you will find the Dwarf Kingdom. They said. Other than by the empire to the east, the Jura forest is surrounded by many countries. And yet bordering no state, stands the Kainat mountain range. Thus, there are only 3 trade routes leading to them. One goes right through the Jura forest. Another, the harder, traverses the mountains. The last is a sea route. Currently, the Jura forest route is by far the shortest and the safest, but, for some reason, it's generally avoided. And so, the harder mountain route had been the norm. As for the sea route, the cost and the powerful sea monsters steer sailors away. Thus, it is the least used route. For now, we have no business with the empire. Thus, rather than heading east, we headed north to the mountains. Nor do we need to ascend to the mountain summit. The Dwarf Kingdom spreads all the way to the Amald River. Their capital is a beautiful city carved inside a natural giant cave. Such is the Dwarf Kingdom. So as intended, we continued north along the Amald River. Following the river prevents us from getting lost. Though just to be safe, I have opened the map in my head. As for our guide, he was sent as a messenger to the kingdom before, so we left it to him. But man, the black wolves, Stormfang wolves, are fast. And show no signs of getting tired. Since we started the journey 3 hours ago, they have yet to take a break. And let's not forget to mention their 80 km/h, 50 miles per hour, running speed. They don't even care about the uneven terrain, and while running in a way as to prevent motion sickness. It's unnaturally comfortable, to say the least. At this pace, this probably won't even take a week. Well, there's no need to rush. Certainly I want to figure out the clothing and housing problems soon, but it's fine if it takes some time. Ooey, you don't need to push yourselves this much, is what I called out. But for some reason, the speed increased. At first I thoroughly enjoyed the breeze generated by these faster than a motorcycle wolves, but that got boring soon. More so considering that it's difficult to have your words heard at this speed, but I have telepathic communication. Might be good to continue the journey with a conversation. So I connected to their thought network. What will I hear? Riguru-kun. I always wondered, who named your brother? Though for someone like me, don't bother with honorifics. As for my brother's name, he said a traveling man from Devil Race named him. Oh? A devil named a goblin? Yes, though this happened more than a decade ago. I was but a child then, but they say he stayed a few days and was pleased with my brother. Hey, must have been a good brother. Yes, I was very proud of him. To the point of saying, I want to one day serve under Devil Gelmudo-sama, too. The devil didn't take your brother with him? Yes. Brother was still young, but he departed with a promise to come back when I got stronger. Is that so? Wouldn't he be surprised if he sees the village now? Certainly. However, I now serve Rimuru-sama. No matter how glorious the Demon Lord's army is, I can no longer join. Gelmudo-sama. The Demon Lord's army. I think I've heard of them. But never mind that, how come you believe him? As you say. But whether it was faith or conviction, I don't know. Though my brother received a name from the devil, he didn't evolve to this extent. Clearly, the degree of evolution is different. Never expected to hear the voice of world in my entire life. The surrounding hobgoblins would only join in with a that, right, kind of phrase. Is it really as he says? When you receive a name, you evolve. And, the evolution depends on the power of the giver. If I get a chance to experiment, I'll try it out. More important. Demon Lord's army. It actually exists in this world. Will the Demon Lord come to recruit us? Which side should we support? That thought I'll leave for when he comes. In any case, a hero also exists, and if anyone should fight the Demon Lord, it'd be her. Though whether she is still alive after 300 years is a good question. She probably reincarnated a bunch of times by now, and now trains in peace. Let's make a mental note regarding this. Now then, the next conversation is, Ranga, aren't I your father's nemesis? Are you okay with staying by my side? Is how I asked the black wolves. Honestly, that thought had never crossed my mind. However, the fate of monsters naturally rests on the outcome of battle. Thus, regardless of the war, the winner proclaims his justice. The loser loses all. And so, I, who had been forgiven by you, my liege, and have even been bestowed a name. I feel but gratitude towards you. Is that so? Well, if you ever desire revenge, come at my any time. Foo. Since evolving, I can think more clearly. And unlike during the battle, now I know. If you had faced us seriously, we would have been massacred. And our dearest wish, to evolve, would have crumbled like a house of sand. Our eternal loyalty belongs to no other. Seriously, this guy. Yes, had I mimicked the black serpent, I could have laid waste to all living things, but I didn't want to resort to that. Ranga holds too high of an opinion of me. Well, not that his misconceptions hurt me in any way. So you understand? You have grown. I am unworthy of such praise. Thus the conversation ended with a nod. However, I did kill his parents. No way I'll believe that he holds no grudge. If Ranga ever does come for revenge, I'll gladly face him. Until then, he just needs to grow stronger. Right now, no matter how I look at him, he's at most as strong as the black serpent. And that's how we continued our journey. Thus, without getting attacked by monsters or other incident, we comfortably continued on our way. Every 3 hours, we'd take a 30-minute break. After 14 hours, we'd take 7 to sleep. I did say, aren't we rushing too much? But we are fine. Due to evolving, this much can hardly tire us. Thus answered Riguru, please do not worry about us. Unlike you, our liege, we do require sleep, but not many hours. Furthermore, we do not require frequent meals, and will not weaken when lacking them. And so added Ranga. Looking at others, their words seem to prove true. At this rate, the one who does the least seems to whine the most. Well, if everyone is fine with it, I guess we can continue at this pace. We'll be running 12 hours a day, aren't these guys tough? And on the evening of the second day, while having dinner, by the way, Gobuta. How much farther is it? Introducing Goblin Gobuta. I am happy that you asked this unworthy one. Please pardon me should I be mistaken, but we should reach them by tomorrow. Mountain is close by. Seems like being asked by me made him both nervous and happy at the same time. He didn't bite his tongue, did he? That's how nervous he seemed. But indeed, most of the mountain is now in sight. Compared to not seeing it at all yesterday, what terrifying speed we travel at. On that note, by the way, and I know it's a sudden question, but why did you travel to the Dwarf Kingdom? Shouldn't their merchants stop by once in a while? I asked that question. When I asked Rigurdo about the Goblin country, he also discussed something about kobold traders. So what could have prompted them to make this 2-month journey? Yes. It was about magic weapons and armor. Dwarfs tend to buy them at a high price. We were paid in equipment, so we helped the peddlers bring it back. And besides, not one of us could use that equipment. I see. So they sometimes sold the equipment carried by adventurers. And thus, they were left without appropriate equipment. Yet they sold it to kobolds who couldn't even properly estimate its value. In the first place, the goblins could kill a lost beginner at most. Can't expect them to have gotten their hands on anything good? But who'd expect the dwarfs to make goblin armor? They may be a surprisingly kind race. Hopefully, we'll proceed on friendly terms. Actually, let's just form a partnership. Thus, since we started the journey, 3 days have passed. The beautiful city carved within the mountain range. Wrought by nature, the natural fortress. The warrior country Dwargon. We had reached the dwarf kingdom status name. Rimmer U Tempest species. Slime divine protection. The storm crest titles. One who commands monsters magic. None skills. Unique skill, Great Sage. Unique skill, Predator. Slime-specific skills, Dissolve, Absorb, Regenerate. Extra skill, Water manipulation. Extra skill, Magic perception. Acquired skills. Black Serpent, Heat detection. Noxious breath. Centipede, Paralysis breath. Spider, Sticky thread, Steel threat. Bat, Ultrasound waves. Lizard, Body armor. Wolf, Supreme sense of smell, Telepathic communication. Coercion. Resistances. Thermal fluctuation resistance X. Physical attack resistance. Pain resistance. Electricity resistance. Paralysis resistance. Thanks for hearing from my channel. Please like, subscribe and support us if you feel interested.